These numbers are absolutely shocking. This definitely could send XRP well into the 3 to 4 digits. We are talking about the wall of money that's about to head into the crypto space. Tom Lee breaks it down in this 30-second clip. Then I'm going to show you some actual hard data, what this could do to XRP's price. We're also going to get into some information. Vivo Power is finally making moves with Ripple shares and of course XRP. We're also going to get into some information about Paul Barron's post here about Rail. We talked about this in a video that was coming out today on Friday. But let's get into this information. Let's go.
Well, in 2017, when we first read about Bitcoin, we recommended 1 to 2% into crypto. That has been 100x for our clients. Today, we're saying if you're starting 5 to 10% is appropriate for the median investor. If someone's younger and they can let time work in their favor, then 20% or more makes sense. That's consistent with the BlackRock mathematical calculations. And again, I think there's still a lot of upside. Just keep in mind, Wall Street is running into the blockchain.
Okay, check this out. You're talking to investors 6 years ago in the crypto space. They were telling you, hey, maybe put about 1% or 2% in the crypto space. It's still a very nascent asset class. It is still developing. Be very careful. Now you have financial advisors telling customers, hey, if you're a little bit younger, you can put up to 20% into the crypto market. If you're a little bit older, maybe 10%. But now we're talking about astronomical numbers, 10 to 20%. Can you imagine where the conversation is going to be 5 years from now when tokenization really does take over the planet? Is that going to be 30 or 40% then? Remember, younger people prefer to invest money into the crypto space over the stock market space. As the older generation passes down money or whatever it is to the younger generation, that money is going to go to one place. That is the crypto market. Now, if we're going to take a look at what we're talking about here, I did a video on this last week. You guys love this information. Let's just take a brief look about how much money is expected to come in. So we're talking about insurance companies, hedge funds, pension funds, brokerage firms, endowment funds, bank, sovereign, and wealth funds, family offices. Here is the breakdown. Insurance companies, 8.5 trillion. Hedge funds, 5.2 trillion. Pension funds, $56 trillion. Remember, President Trump just signed an executive order allowing 401ks and IRAs to be invested in the crypto market. Hey, 56 trillion. Let's go. Brokerage firms, 40 trillion. Endowment funds, little under $1 trillion. Banks, 22 trillion. Sovereign wealth funds, 9.6 trillion. And family offices, 5.5 trillion. Remember, the crypto market is about to go from about a $4 trillion space to a $100 trillion space over the next 10 years. If tokenization is able to speed up, that number could be even higher. Everybody is going to want a piece of this market. This is going to be the biggest transfer of wealth in human history. Do you want to be part of it? Right? Do you want a piece of it? That is the question that you need to resolve in your head with your finances, with your family, with your financial advisor, right? How can I generate income in the crypto space over the next 5 to 10 years? And is that going to be enough to set me or my family or my children or my grandchildren up for life? That is the conversation you should be having right now. Now, let me show you what happens. Right now, the crypto space, XRP represents about 4 to 5% of the entire crypto space, right? Bitcoin obviously is a lot higher. Ethereum is the second highest. And then here is XRP. But as the Ripple and SEC case is now gone behind us, right? As XRP ETFs become more of a mainstream financial product here in the United States, I'd imagine that 5% could tick up to 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10% over the next few years. So if XRP just represented 5% of all of this income, this value that's going to be coming into the crypto space, let's see what that actually does to the price. Now, if we're talking about a 1-for-1, which means $1 coming into XRP on inflows to $1 change in market cap, we are talking about $1.48 trillion. But I've shown you time and time again that inflows and outflows don't equal a 1-to-1, change. So right now we're looking from anywhere from 100 to 600x market cap multiplier for inflows and outflows to XRP to market cap change, which means if I gave a $1 into buying XRP off the open market, that would change the market cap either $100 or $600. It's kind of a wild number. It's because there's not a lot of liquidity in these tokens. And so just a 1-for-1, we're talking about a close to $30 XRP. But if we start putting on the market cap multiplier, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about some outlandish prices here. This is a 25x, 50x, and 100x market cap multiplier on this $1.48 $1.48 trillion. Okay. Now, if you understand how I got to this number, right? I took 5% of all of this, which, I'd imagine that a lot of this money, whether it's 10% or 20% comes into the crypto space. If XRP is destined to be one of the main blockchains of the future, why wouldn't it capture some of this money, right? That's my thought process, at least anyways. So now if we take a look at these prices on a 25x on that 1.48 trillion, we're talking about a $622 XRP. At a 50x, we're talking about a $1,200. And at 100x, we're talking about a $2,500 XRP. This is before tokenization or tokenizing treasuries or staking availability, lowering the circulating supply. This is none of that. We're not talking about any of that. We're just talking about fresh inflows to market cap change. Now, eventually there's going to be enough liquidity where you're not going to see a, 1 in 500 change, right? You're going to see maybe a 1 in 50 or a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 10. That's going to be reasonable going forward. But in the short term, we're going to see some awesome multipliers. And if you take a look at the biggest companies in the world, here are the top 50 largest companies in the world. Remember, all of these companies are going to try to figure out ways to get involved too. Maybe they don't want to just buy Bitcoin and hold it long term, but maybe they want to take advantage of the stablecoin solutions, or maybe they want to take advantage of tokenization of, financial products or tokenization of their services, right? A lot of these businesses like Oracle and Nvidia, they produce some products, but they also produce services that companies want to buy and use. I'd imagine they're going to figure out ways to tokenize that value all the same. All right. And so you also look here, Vivo Power to purchase initial $100 million of Ripple shares, effectively buying XRP at an implied 47 cents per token. Now, I didn't really quite understand what was going on here. So I wanted to research it. And here's what that research said. Vivo Power is purchasing $100 million worth of privately held Ripple Labs shares, not directly buying XRP tokens. The key mechanism here comes from Ripple's valuation and its XRP holdings, and are being considered together. Ripple holds about 41 billion XRP tokens, representing about 41% of the XRP supply. The deal values Ripple, not the current market capitalization of its XRP holdings, about 135 billion, but instead a much lower negotiated company valuation of around 19 billion. Now, I just saw some information that Ripple's valuation was somewhere around 15 billion. Is that saying that this is now up to 19 billion, or this is how they're figuring this out? Says by purchasing Ripple shares at this valuation, Vivo Power, is gaining indirect exposure to XRP tokens at an implied cost of 47 cents per token, which is far below the current market price of XRP. How does this discount work? Imagine Ripple's 41 billion held XRP tokens at today's market cap. That would roughly be about 135 billion. Vivo Power is buying into Ripple as a company, which is privately valued at around 19 billion. So yes, that is Ripple's kind of new evaluation that they're using for this model. Notice how it was just 15 and now it's 19 just a few weeks later. You get rid of the SEC case and all of a sudden, I'd imagine Ripple's value will continue to go up here. Imagine once they actually IPO. It's going to be insane. All right, let's keep it going here. Therefore, the effective price per XRP token held by Ripple comes out to 47 cents. You have 19 billion divided by 41 billion tokens. This calculation does not factor in Ripple's other business units or assets. It only values Ripple by its XRP holdings. What is Vivo Power's benefit here? This setup allows Vivo Power, by owning Ripple shares, to indirectly gain exposure to large escrowed XRP reserves at a major discount to market price. Vivo Power will be a direct shareholder of Ripple, recorded on Ripple's cap table, not via special vehicles, allowing for more transparent exposure. The company frames this as buying XRP at 47 cents, meaning it's leveraging the valuation gap between Ripple's private share price and the market value of XRP. Why can't regular investors do this? Regular market participants must buy XRP at the market price via exchanges. Vivo Power is negotiating directly for Ripple's equity, which comes bundled with indirect rights claims to Ripple's XRP reserves, leading to a dramatically lower effective acquisition cost per XRP compared to buying tokens directly. Now, this is very unique, and I'm glad I was able to explore this so I understood it better, and I hope you do too now. But I also want you to think there has to be other companies that are looking at this saying, what the hell are we doing? Why don't we have some type of strategy like this too? Listen, I know we're all thinking like the crypto space is kind of this nuanced small space, but it is growing into something much more powerful where all of the world's money, right? All of the world's financial systems will either be running on blockchain rails and stable coins and the tokenization of financial assets. This is all coming over the next, 1 to 2 decades. Now we can speed this process up by working with our partners in different jurisdictions and countries around the world, making sure that everybody is on the same type of regulation and allows the movement of value. And as well as if you have like a home or a business and you're selling that via the blockchain, the recording of that sale and the new ownership needs to be recorded both in the legacy systems that have been used for decades, as well as the new blockchain rails. So imagine just the world is now waking up that crypto is going to be the future, something that you've known for quite some time, but the rest of the world didn't. And now all of that focus, all of that time, all of that money is heading right for us. And we don't know what to do. So what I recommend that you do is talk with a financial advisor, talk with somebody that understands the crypto market. Make sure you're working with very smart people to do your taxes with crypto, because I can tell you, I've actually have a horror story from maybe like 5 or 6 years ago. My first year in the crypto space, I went to someone to help me with my taxes that really didn't know what to do with crypto stuff. And I ended up getting back charged by the IRS because they misfiled something. So make sure that whoever you decide to work with knows exactly what they're talking about here. And that way you don't get in trouble later. All right, let's get this. All right. Paul Barron says, case is over. XRP is set to ignite the next crypto rally. Ripple and SEC agreed to dismiss appeals ending XRP lawsuit. Ripple set to acquire Rail Financial, projected to process 10% of the global B2B stablecoin payments. Forecast is about $36 billion for 2025. Let's play the clip.
Rail is now joining Ripple. Rail has a lot of cross-border payment settlement. This only increases the coffers for Ripple. One note in this tweet right here is this one right there, and it's that we power 10% of all B2B stablecoin volume, and now that we've got Ripple, we're going to scale faster. So 10% significant by one company, and now all of that sitting in Ripple.
All right. Now, I did a video. I released this video yesterday. There wasn't a lot of time to super edit the video, but let me just show you what video it is. So if you're interested to learning about that, we of course have the content for you. So it's going to be this video right here. It says Rail on it. 13,000 views about 24 hours ago. If you want a full breakdown of what this partnership actually means for Ripple and XRP, that is the video that you want to watch. I went through all of this information just to give you some gist of what's in this video. Of course, it's immediate scale and global reach. Rail processes 10% of global B2B stablecoin payments, amounting to billions in annual volume. This gives Ripple an instant leap into transaction flow and global payment network presence. It does compete with Swift. It has connections into Swift, into SEPA, into some other payment infrastructures around the world. This is going to be a great partnership. Now, the reason Ripple might probably be doing this is you've got to imagine that everybody's starting to wake up. Banks and institutions are starting to see like, oh shoot, we actually have to have stablecoin rails. We need to have this blockchain infrastructure. Now, the smart banks already knew this and they've been working on it for some time, but a lot of intermediate, medium-sized credit unions or whatever banks, they really were sitting on their hands waiting for regulation. So it's going to be a mad rush, and there's only so much blockchain infrastructure out in the world today. Ripple, Circle, and all of these other gigantic multi-billion-dollar conglomerates, they are trying to gobble up and swallow this infrastructure, because whoever owns the infrastructure of the new age of money, those will be the winners. All right. And Digital Asset Investor has this clip here, set it up here. The sky is the limit. Minimum target is $8. Average target for the next wave is 11. Could go as high as 13, 14, 15. Check it out.
XRP is almost telling you that with the end of the lawsuit. It's the first time we've been out of this lawsuit in 5 years, because obviously this has lasted for 5 years. The sky's the limit here if we start to get this weekly close above 345. Realistically, minimum target is $8. My average target for the next wave is $11. Could go as high as 13, 14, 15. And then then we have the discussion as to whether we have a blow off top after that for alts. And I think we do.
Can you feel the energy? Because it's building up. And if you're watching this video and you can't feel the energy coming off of this camera and this video, I don't know what else to say to you or show you, but I am extremely bullish about the future. The more information, the more knowledge that you can take in, the better decisions that you can make out here in the crypto space. And it's just an honor to be on this journey with you. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic weekend. Aloha. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.